Hey, hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Great. Hey, hello, everyone.
Hello.
All right. So let us go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so let us go ahead and begin with Mirth Connect. So yesterday we have looked at the networking aspects of any integration project. We looked at what are the various data models that we can go ahead and use in order to implement any interfaces. So data models in the sense in terms of connections, what kind of connectivity models we can use is what we have seen, right? So that is kind of a prerequisite for us to know what all connection models are available, because when we start Mirth Connect, that's where we begin. Whenever we create any channel, we need to define what type of connection model we are going to use for that specific channel or for that specific interface. So now that we know what are the various connection models that we have, today we'll begin with learning Mirth Connect. We'll see what is Mirth Connect, where do we use it. We'll talk more about the Mirth Connect architecture in terms of how an interface is designed within Mirth Connect. We'll also talk about what are the various interface patterns that we can create. And we'll also talk about how do you install your own Mirth Connect instance so that practically you can use it going forward. So Mirth Connect is the actual product name. It is one of the integration engines out there in the market. It is called as NextGen Connect because Mirth Connect has been taken over by or acquired by NextGen back in 2016, I believe, or 2014. I don't remember the exact year, but it was 2016 or 2014, where NextGen is one of the biggest US healthcare product-based company, and they have purchased or acquired Mirth Connect as their integration product. So they have many other products which are widespread. They have PM system, they have EHR system, they have other products. Integration was not one of the product, but after acquiring Mirth Connect, they have this product as well. So Mirth Connect is one of the famous interface engines out there, which most of the integration engines, HL7 integration engines, will be aware of that there is a product called as Mirth Connect. It is so famous for one main reason, which is nothing but the usage of which is nothing but a Mirth Connect product can be used free of cost. That's one of the major reasons why it is so famous. And this product is free of cost. At the same time, it is very robust. Even if it is free, it is very robust, production ready. You can deploy interfaces in production. You can, there is no limitation power on how you can run the product. Everything is same even if you go for an enterprise plan. So you do have a few billable plans that you can choose from, but they are not for the product. They are for the support aspects from Mirth Connect organization. So if you want to get support on the product, you can be one of their members by paying or by taking one of their plans, and then you will get the support from them. There are a few other added advantages as well, which we'll talk about when we talk about enterprise extensions. If you are a um, support subscribed customer, but we'll talk about that in a bit. That being said, Mirth Connect is as an integration engine, which is nothing but it's a middleware which will transact data from one system to another. So what should be the essential aspect of a data integration product like or data integration tool like Mirth Connect, as it sits between two different systems. So it should support various message types, right? So it supports HL7, V2, V3 message processing. You can process XML messages, you can process JSON messages. NCPDP is a pharmacy related standard for healthcare, even that is supported within Mirth Connect. X12 is an insurance based standard, even that is supported in Mirth Connect. DICOM is RIS, which is nothing but the imaging related standard, even that is supported. You can also transact raw data within Mirth Connect and make it a structured data if you want to. You can run delimited data as well. So such kind of data formats are supported by Mirth Connect. So that being said, along with the formats, we also need to have the flexibility to connect to using various connection models or connections out there that are available in the IT industry. So Mirth Connect can transact data or receive and send data using connection models like TCP/IP. It can receive the data through TCP/IP. It can send the data using TCP/IP as their model. It can receive data through HTTP requests and send HTTP requests outside. It can also support file system, email, JavaScripting, uh, FTP and SFTP server related settings and database settings. All of these are supported by Mirth Connect. Now, Mirth Connect is a freeware, as I said, freeware open source product. Anyone can go ahead and download, install it, and key ready it. You don't need to pay anything, even if you're using it in the production system. That being said, it's an organization, right? So there are few creamy aspects of Mirth Connect which are not present in the free open source software. So they have few license plans called as silver, gold, and platinum. And those license plans are for getting support from Mirth Connect. They are not for the product. You can use the product if you want to. And as long as you can manage your solutions within the free open source product, you are good to go, right? But in case if you feel that you need support from Mirth Connect, or there are few essential creamy options, creamy features that are not present in the Mirth Connect freeware, free open source version of Mirth Connect. If you need those features to be there, then you may need to go ahead and subscribe to one of these plans. So let's say you go with silver plan. In silver plan, you have certain checkpoints that are supported, like you will be given customer support. There will be a resource will be assigned to your projects, and your cases will be assigned, and they will be addressed as soon as possible. So things like that, right? Along with that, you will also get access to all of the additional features that are presented or that are provided by Mirth Connect. So what are those additional features? One of them is SSL Manager. SSL Manager is one of the main aspect of the Mirth Connect connection models. This will help us to go ahead and bind our connections with an SSL certificate. Let's say you are hosting an HTTP server. You have to bind your HTTP URL with a certificate so that data is encrypted and transacted between two different systems, right? That is not present within Mirth Connect. Okay. And second, another feature is something called user administrator. Basically, it is a role-based access control. So role-based access control will help you to manage the role of a user who logs into the system. Right now, whoever logs in will be the administrator, meaning they will have access to everything. They are treated as administrators, even though they have different username and password. They are treated as administrators and will have complete access to the entire list of channels that you have and everything, basically. They can do create channels, delete the channels, look at the code, update the code, and do a lot of other things, right? So that is called as role-based access control. So that is also not present in uh, the regular free open source version that we use. So if you want these features, then we have to go ahead and subscribe to their one of the plans, as I said. Once you subscribe those plans, these features can be imported and used in your Mirth Connect version itself. So these are not like something that is present or available in another product altogether. These are just available as plugins. So if you want SSL Manager, you go to the list of plugins that you have in available on Mirth Connect website, download them, and go ahead and import them into the current product that you have. Then you are good to go to use that particular feature. All right. So there are 14 different plugins that are available if you are subscribed to their one of the enterprise plans like silver, gold, and platinum. Okay. That being said, on the right hand side, what you see is how Mirth Connect looks like when you log in. So let us go ahead and see what is this and what are the aspects or what are these individual lines that we are seeing here are called. So whatever you are seeing here is called as Mirth Connect Administrator. So in Mirth Connect Administrator, you are seeing list of interfaces that are available right now. So this is just a screenshot of one of my test machines where I was building a lot of interfaces. And you can see that one line item each is one interface here. Okay, so let's look at that channel architecture. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Hey guys, sorry about that. So each line item that you're seeing on the right hand side is called as an interface. And in Mirth Connect, interfaces are referred to channels. So every product that you see out there will have their own naming convention to name one interface. For example, if you go to Rhapsody integration engine, we call them as routes. If you go to the Ensemble integration engine, you call them as production. And in Integration Buddy, you call them as profiles. So every product gave their own name. So in Mirth Connect, when we develop one interface, we call it as a channel. Okay. So every interface that you create, or from now on, whenever I say channel, I am actually representing one interface. So every interface that you create will have 4 components. Okay. So you will have a source, you will have filters, you will have transformers, and you will have destination connectors. Okay, that is the basic architecture of any channel that we are going to create in the Mirth Connect. So as you can see, source is used to go ahead and receive the data. Filters and transformers are used as middle layer so that the data can be transacted between and while the data is transacted between source and destination, you can manipulate the data that you have received in case if you want to. When I say manipulate, not in a wrong way, but transforming the data or updating the data as per our requirement, right? And all of that can be performed within filters and transformers. And then once the filters and transformers are completed, you will be sending the data to the next section or next component, which is called as destination connector. In destination connector, you would be defining how you want to deliver the message to certain destination. Okay. So this is the basic general architecture of any interface channel within Mirth Connect. Now you can see that there is one point that says one or more. So on the destination side, you can create one or more destinations if you want to, meaning You can receive message from a single source, and you can deliver that message to multiple destinations if you want to. Okay, so that is a flexibility that we have within Mirth Connect, where you can deliver the message to multiple destinations. You can add them, you can configure them, you can send them. Okay, we'll talk more about the use cases down the line in the upcoming slides. So Mirth Connect Administrator is also used to go ahead and look at few statistics on how many messages we have received, how many messages were sent, what did some message error out in the channel, and we have the list of errors. As you can see here, we'll have few errors that are specified here, right? So we'll take a deeper look at this one once we get into the Mirth Connect product. So let us zoom in a little bit more. So the way we are going to take a look at the channel architecture as and when we progress through the training is, this is high level architecture, whatever you have seen right now. When we proceed next, we will zoom in a little bit into the architecture and take a look at the message processing flow within the channel in a little bit deeper manner. Okay, and that's what we will do as and when we progress. We will it's kind of peeling off the layers of the onion. First, you will see the upper layer, and then you will slowly look at the lower layer, and then the inner layer, that way. So we'll be zooming in step by step to understand the architecture in a systematic way. So next slide is going to explain us how the message is going to be transacted. So let me go ahead and um, talk more about this channel architecture a little bit in depth. All right, so let's look at the channel architecture. As I said, every channel had source and destination. That's what we saw in the previous slide, right? So any channel is divided mainly into these two sections: source as first component, and then its associated destination. And within the source, you have source connector, and that source connector is where we will configure how do we receive the data into the channel. It may be a folder connectivity. It may be a TCP IP connectivity where you will set up TCP IP and port number so that someone can send the data to you on that particular port number. Or it can be HTTP service, or the source connector can be configured to go ahead and connect to a database and extract the data from the database and then process the data that it extracted. So source connector is the main thing where you will receive the data or grab the data from other external systems. Once that is done, source will have its own dedicated source filters and transformers. That's the reason we are seeing here that we have source filters and validations, source transformers. All right. So what this does, source filters and transformers will help us to go ahead and perform the transactions or perform some sort of manipulations of data on the source component side itself. Okay. Once the source filters and transformers are completed, message will be passed on to the destination side of the channel or destination component of the channel. Whenever you are trying to manipulate within source filters and transformers, you will be using three different technologies within the filters and transformer section. Number one, data will be in the form of XML format within filters and transformers. And number two, as the data is in XML format, you will be using E4X, which is called as ECMAScript for XML, a technology which will help us to go ahead and access the data elements from an XML object. And number three, you will be using JavaScript as your scripting language, which will help you to go ahead and build your transformations. So we have an XML object, we have JavaScript. JavaScript will use the methodology of E4X in order to navigate through that XML object. So if you are not aware of E4X, don't worry. If you're not aware of JavaScript, don't worry. We have that covered. As in when we progress, I am going to tell about E4X wherever it is appropriate. And we'll talk about JavaScript as well, basics and the concepts that are necessary for Mirth Connect. So we are definitely going to cover that. So don't worry about those aspects. All that I'm looking for is little bit knowledge on SQL so that you know how to write SQL queries like select command, update command, or write joins. So these are the main three topics that you should be aware of from SQL Server perspective. So we are 5 sessions. Uh, there are 5 sessions which will not need you knowing SQL Server as of now. So if you get time before that 5 sessions, if you are very new to SQL, then I would recommend going through that SQL Server topics. Number 1 is select commands. Number 2 is update commands. Number 3 is joins. So please go ahead and review these 3 topics before we get to a point where we start using the SQL. Okay. So let's come back to this section. So in source filters and transformers, you will be using JavaScript, E4X, and XML, and that will help us to go ahead and transform the data, apply all the kinds of transformations that you want to. Next, you have message. Next, the message passes on to the destination connection. On the destination connection, you will see that we'll have destination filters and transformers. Similarly, what we have done in the source transformer, you can do the same thing in destination transformers. And then once the destination transformers are applied, then there will be a final message that will be ready. So you will want to go ahead and run the message or send the message to the destination connector. Destination connector will have its own configurations to deliver the message to certain destination. Let's say it can write the data to the database. It can write the data or to another REST API service. It can write the data to any other TCP IP and port numbers. So it depends on what kind of connection model that you are using, where eventually the data will be returned to the certain destination. Now, why do we need to have 2 sections individually? So this is how the channel architecture is in Mirth Connect. And at times you may want to go ahead and write the transformations on the source and source side. In few scenarios, you may want to write the transformations on the destination side. So it is up to the developer to decide whether to write the transformations or the code in the source side or the destination side. So there are definite use cases where you may apply or where you may write the transformations on the destination side itself. So we will practically see that anyway in the future, but we'll also talk about these aspects in the next slide. Okay, but any channel will have these 2 components. This is the base architecture. Okay, any questions before we proceed on to the next slide? All right, I'm not hearing anything, so let's go ahead and proceed to the next slide. So here we are going to take a look at various types of channel patterns that we can create in Mirth Connect. Okay, now this is to give you a general idea to you guys to understand how the various patterns can be created within Mirth Connect so that you can get a better idea of designing a channel based on the requirement that you have in real time. Right? So let us go ahead and take a look at that. So first model that we have is called integration model. So in integration model, it's a straightforward channel. So you will receive the data on source, and then you will send the data to filters and transformers. So if I am not specifically saying source and filter, assume that I am talking about the common aspects of filters and transformers on both the sides. So here it is a straightforward integration channel where you'll be receiving the data on the source and pass it on to the filters and transformers. And then from there, you will send the data to the destination. And destination will write the data to the database. So here, most of the scenarios I represented a database, but it can be anything. It can be a database, it can be a TCP IP related connection, it can be an HTTP service, it can be anything. Okay. Next is what we have is called as broadcast model. So in broadcast connectivity model, you will be receiving the data on the source. Source will pass on the data to source filters and source transformers. So once the source transformation section is completed, we know that every channel has two sections, right? So till this point, the source side of the aspects are completed. Once that is done, the default behavior of Merge Connect is to go ahead and duplicate the message to multiple destinations if there are any. So in the first slide, we looked at and understood that every channel can have one source and it can have a minimum of one destination. But if you want to have more number of destinations, you can have it, right? Let's take a scenario. For example, let's say that there is a huge hospital in the city and it has many multiple branches. So they have their own registration PM system and they have their own EHR. But every individual clinic which is present in the various parts of the city are using their own location specific EHRs. Okay, that's the scenario. But the registration system which is there is a centralized registration system, and that is a single application which is used by all the clinics in the city. Okay, so whenever the patient gets registered in the centralized system, you have to go ahead and send the data to all the EHR systems so that every EHR system has information about this particular patient record. So how we can implement that scenario in Mirth Connect? So what you can do in that scenario is in Mirth Connect, you can configure the source to receive the data from that registration system so that as soon as the patient is registered, we get the data into Mirth Connect. Once we receive that data, you can apply source filters and transformers if there is anything that is needed. And once that is done, you can have multiple destinations, one destination pointing to each of those EHR systems. And as soon as the message completes the source side of it, the same message will be replicated to all of these three destinations. So that's the default behavior of Mirth Connect. If there is more than one destination, message will automatically be routed to both the destinations. Okay, just keep that in mind. That is the default behavior. Now that being said, at times you may want to go ahead and control whether a message should be sent to destination or not. Okay, this is a scenario where message will be sent to all the destinations without any validations or filters or anything as such. Now let's look at the another scenario where Mirth Connect similar channel will do the work of routing. Okay, let's take a look at that. Now here in the router case, you will receive the data on the source component. And once you receive the data on the source component, you will pass on the data to all the destinations that you have. Okay. Once the data is sent or duplicated to all the destinations, you can write some validations in the destination filter. Each destination will have its own set of filters and transformers, as you can see here. So this is destination 1, it has its own filters and transformers. This is destination 2, it has its own filters and transformers. This is destination 3, it has its own set, right? So when a message is duplicated and sent to all the three, what you can do is you can enable some filters in the destination filter and say process the message further only in case if you have if this particular message belongs to this certain destination. So let's take a look at an example to understand this. Let's say there is a lab system like LabCorp or Quest. They will be receiving orders from multiple EHR systems, right? There will be hundreds of EHRs which are connected to the LabCorp or Quest systems. Now, when they generate the result, they will have to send the results to multiple EHR systems. But they have to also ensure that the results belonging to that specific EHR should only be sent to them. Other results shouldn't be sent to them. So what Merge Connect, how we can achieve this in Merge Connect? So you can set up a source which would receive the data for all the results from LabCorp. And once, as and when you receive the result, every message that arrives will be duplicated to all the three destinations. Right? Let's say that we have to deliver results of EHR 1 through destination 1, results of EHR 2 through destination 2, results of EHR 3 through destination 3. All right. So you will receive the data on the source. Let's say we have received a result belonging to EHR2. Then how do we manage it? So there will be some sort of flag in the message which will tell us whether the result belongs to EHR1, EHR2, or EHR3. So as soon as result is received, we will Mirth Connect will by default duplicate that message to all the three destinations, right? So in each destination filter, you will say that if message belongs to EHR1, then process it further, or else block it here itself. Do not proceed further and process it to destination transformer. That's what we are telling here. Similarly, on the second filter, we will say that process the message only if it belongs to EHR2, or else filter it. Similarly, we have third filter and transformer here. So this will ensure that you are not processing the messages further in case if that particular message doesn't belong to this destination. That way, you are able to route the message to the appropriate destination. Okay, so that is router use case. The last one that we have is chaining. So in chaining methodology, you will have one channel. So let's say that we are receiving the data or receiving results on one channel, okay, within the hospital. So hospital will receive the data on certain source connection model, and it will filter the messages if needed, or else it will transform the messages and then send the message to destination, and that destination will write the data to the database. So this is the general form or general design. Let's say we have a requirement that for every result that the hospital receives, we have to generate a PDF report, and that PDF report will be shared with the client as a soft copy. Okay. Or it can be used for printing purposes, and that PDF report can be printed and provided as a hard copy to the client or basically to the patients. So whenever you receive the result, you will be processing the result, and you will be sending the data to two different destinations, sending that result information to two different destinations. Destination one, which will write the data to the database. Destination two, which will actually route the message to another channel that is present within the Mirth Connect. Okay, so this is one channel that you are seeing here. Okay, and this is the second channel that you are seeing within the Mirth Connect instance. So this destination can be pointed to another source that is present within the channel or within the Mirth Connect instance. And this channel will receive that result information. And then you can configure your channel to go ahead and receive that info and write some code to generate a PDF file. Okay, so as you are interconnecting channel inside a channel, this is called as chaining model. So this way you can go ahead and connect as many number of channels as you want, so that you can internally manage the channel and create a chain if required. Okay, this is called chaining pattern. Now, how do you determine, being an integration engineer, how do you determine which model to go with? So it purely depends on the architecture, interface type you are implementing, and what are the connection models you are using, and whether you are using TCP/IP or HTTP models. And it also depends on the fact that do you have to do something with the data that you get as a response from the destination, right? So there are many intricacies that will come into play in order to decide on a model, but these are the common models that we can implement. You can also come up with your own design model to go ahead and implement certain interface, right? But in the beginning, if you are very new to Mirth Connect, it may take some time to go ahead and reach a page where you can design your own channel. So who does this? Mainly the architects and leads, technical leads who are already well versed with the product will design these interface patterns and say that this is the interface pattern that we are going to use for our project. As they have broader knowledge on integration aspects, and as they have been working on Mirth Connect already, so they will give you a better and dry picture of how we can build a certain channel. Okay, so if you're beginning, don't worry, that's not on your bucket, but slowly, as in when you develop your channels, you'll get a fair idea. Okay, so any questions regarding the patterns?
Yes, Dixon, I have one question.
Yeah, Devansh.
Once in the previous slide, you told that in for source also filters and transformer will be there, and for
Mm-hmm.
destination also filters and transformer will be there. But in this slide which you are currently showing,
Mm-hmm.
for source in the diagram, for source only source filter and source transformer is there. Then we are getting to the destination. In
Correct.
that first integration method, which was, I don't remember that name, destination filter and destination transformer is not there.
Yeah, as I have said when we were talking about this, if I'm not specifically saying source and filter here, I did
Hmm.
not label it here, but apparently you will be having both the components. You will have source side filters and transformers. You will be having destination side filters and transformers. I just gave a common component here, but apparently the channel will have both of them.
Okay, and in second also same thing will be there.
Right. Destination will have its own set of filters and transformers. Each destination will have its own set of filters and transformers.
Okay, so in the chaining integration system,
Mm-hmm.
why we need to create one more database? Why can't that okay, we have created one more destination in the second destination. From second destination, that destination filter and transformer cannot convert it into the PDF.
You can, if you want to. You can write the transformation logic to generate a PDF file out of that. But if you want, if you have a common channel which is doing that for, let's say, all the different channels that you have, then the model would be better to go ahead and route all the messages to one channel, and that would generate the PDF file. Let's say we have 10 interfaces.
Okay.
From all the 10 interfaces, you are receiving ORU messages. So if you write it in this destination for each channel, then the management would be an overhead, right? So that you can have one common channel which is generating PDF for your data that you are getting, and all the 10 interfaces can route to this one single channel.
Got it.
Okay, great. Any other questions from anyone?
Also, Dixon means I installed the Merge Connect, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to use it. It is showing admin panel when I am going to the taskbar. And right clicking on Merge icon. It is
Mm-hmm.
showing many options like open panel. So which panel, which thing, what needs to be open?
Yeah, that we will see. We'll talk about Mirth Connect installation now, and then you will. I'll tell you how to go ahead and launch it and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
Ruturva.
have a comment. Yes, I have a question maybe to
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
understand a bit more about this destinations, like the model number 3 broadcast. Are you calling it the broadcast?
Mm-hmm. This one.
Now, yes.
Okay.
Now, from this level of the second level, I can see we have layers. The second layer where the message is to be sent to 3 or more directions.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we have a command how we can channel these messages to different destinations, and who is responsible to get the feedback? Are we expecting the feedback from the 3 destinations?
Mm-hmm.
How does it work?
Good question. So the default behavior of Mirth Connect is if it finds one or more destinations, it will route it automatically. So you don't need to go ahead and specifically tell the program that send to destination one, send to destination two, send. I mean, you don't need to internally within the channel uh, explicitly say that from source it has to go to first destination, second destination, or third destination, right? So any message that you receive will automatically be sent to 3 destination components if there are 3 destination components within the channel. Now, after the message is in the destination component, the message will be sent to either database or TCP/IP connection or HTTP connection or any file writer, or basically a folder. So any one of the connection models are possible here, right? Whether do you receive a response from the destination for us to understand whether the transaction is successful or not depends on what type of connection model you are using. If it is folder connection model, then you don't need to get a response because you are writing the data to the local folder. In case if you are unable to write the data to the folder, then immediately interface engine will shoot up an error stating that it cannot write the data. Now in second scenario, let's say that you are sending the data to TCP IP connection. So you'll receive an acknowledgement. Their validation comes into play for sure. So once you deliver the message to destination, the destination will respond back to you with an acknowledgement message. And that acknowledgement message can be validated on the destination side and say that, yes, message is successful. Okay, and so in the third case, if you're writing the data to, let's say, database directly, in that case, you don't need to explicitly again get a validation response from the DB because you are having access to the DB directly. And if something goes wrong, the channel itself will shoot up an error stating that it is unable to write the data to the database. So it purely depends on various connection models that we have. Okay, does it answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
No problem. So any questions, any other questions from anyone? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. So let us go ahead and look at how to go ahead and perform the installation and what are the things that you'll get when you install a Mirth Connect implementation. So in order to install Mirth Connect, you can just type Mirth Connect download, and that will take you to next-gen downloads page. So you can click on that downloads page and it will take you to this page. Let me paste this in the chat. If you want to grab it, you guys can grab it. Okay, so once you reach here, you have Mirth Connect 4.3.0, which is the latest version. And you will have a setup file for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. So if you're using Mac, then you have to install this one. If you're using Windows, then you have to install this one. All right. So go ahead and use 64-bit installer if you're on Windows. Go ahead and use installer if you're on Mac. Okay. And you can just download this one. And once you download, all that you have to do is double click on it and click next, next, next in order to go ahead and install that particular product. So you don't need to configure anything separately. Just click on next, 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 next. It will go ahead and install Mirth Connect. Okay. One prerequisite that you will have in order to go ahead and install Mirth Connect is Java. So you need to install Java version 1.8 or Java 11. Okay. Mirth Connect is a Java based application. So as it is a Java based application, you will have to go ahead and make sure that Java is available for you guys. So go ahead, download Java and install it. Again, that is also an easy process. If it is Java is owned by Oracle, it may ask you to register. Please register as you are using the Java for training purposes, you will not be charged. So if you're using Java in real-time production, that is where you'll be charged. So you can go ahead and use Java only for training purposes. So that should be fine. Okay. So make sure that you're using only one of these two versions. If you're using anything above Java 11, you may find difficulty in running the Mirth Connect instance. Okay, that being said, if you have already installed, how do you launch Mirth Connect? So you can just type Mirth Connect and you will have this something called as Mirth Connect Administrator Launcher, which is actually installed along with your Mirth Connect when you install it. So by default, you should have one connection. So in my system, you are seeing multiple connections, but in your system, once you log in, you will see only one of them. All right, and that would say 8090, or you will see 8443 port number that is being used. Click on launch, and that will start launching the Mirth Connect administrator for you. So once you click on launch, it will present you the login window. Yeah, it did come up on my other screen. So you will have your login window like this. And the default username and password is admin. Okay, and you can click login, and that would help you to go ahead and log into the system. Okay, as you can see, I am able to log into the Mirth Connect administrator. So this is the same process that you have to follow. So if few of you might have challenges, don't worry. If you have challenges, tomorrow's session, we are going to spend time and troubleshoot any issues that you have. So my recommendation is it will take 15-20 minutes for you to complete the installation. Spend some time and make sure that before tomorrow's session, you are able to install Mirth Connect. Okay, so that we can troubleshoot any issues that you get and make sure that you have an instance running. Without installing, we will not be able to have hands-on. So from the beginning itself, it's better to have hands-on on the product so that we can practically do whatever we are seeing in the real time, seeing during the training. Okay, so please go ahead and try it, and you can message me if you have any challenges in installation. I will respond as soon as I can. Okay.
Okay, so Dixon, you're saying we can either download Java 1.8 or Java 11, whichever
Right.
is available?
Correct. Yes. Okay, but stick to only these two versions. Don't go beyond uh, Java 11. Okay, let me go ahead and share that URL as well. So this is the Java download page where you can go ahead and download. So it is a licensed product, but for training, you can go ahead and use Java license for free. Okay, so let me go ahead and share that link with you guys. All right, I have shared it. You can go ahead and download it from here.
Are you sharing on emails? Are you sharing on?
On the chat, you can in the meeting chat that we have. So let
Oh,
me go ahead and paste it in our WhatsApp group as well.
yeah, maybe. Oh.
All right. Any questions from anyone? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. So let us go ahead and conclude today's session here. We will continue tomorrow and take a look at any Mirth Connect related issues that we have before we take a deep dive into the Mirth Connect Mirth Connect as a product. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. You all have a very good day. We'll catch up tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thanks. Mhm. You too.